We're live.
Nice. Thank you, Tam. We can wait 2 minutes because I ping a bunch of people, so we'll see if some of them show up. Um, and I will ping Manu also. If you wanna join. How was your weekend, Gideon?
Uh, it was great. Yeah, it was really nice. Just very low key. How about you?
Selling means that I managed to rest this weekend. So every weekend that I managed to rest is
That's good. That's good.
so. We can start with us with a question that I had for today. Uh, and this is mainly hello, Mawan. And this is mainly regarding the Ukraine conflict. And we were having this conversation over one hive. And how do you handle situations of vulnerability? In this case, in an online community, how will you handle a situation? Like we were talking specifically the case over the AVE community. They put a proposal on a snapshot for seeking support to Ukraine, and it was rejected. It didn't pass, and there were an explanation about it. And they explained about like, yeah, we're not political. We are. They have like the protocol to not be linked to a political endeavor. Some others were saying this is a humanitarian effort. This is not a political situation. So it was back and forth. Um, but I did feel this kind of the question came around because I felt like if we stick to protocols and economy only, then we're not so far from Wall Street. Kind of dehumanizing ourselves from the situations and the context that we are in. So it's like, how do you handle the situations in a way that you do not compromise your values nor the organization you belong to, but at the same time providing support to people who may need it. So I will pass it on to you, Tam. You are muted.
Yeah. I was trying to find the mute button. Sorry. Um, I guess I'm gonna answer. I'm not 100% sure I understand the question because such a situation of vulnerability is so broad. But if we're talking, yeah, I guess maybe let me ask you, can you like rephrase the question? Like, are we talking about like geopolitical crisis in an online community where there's many different vantage points and different perspectives?
Yeah, basically it's about how do you handle situations that affect a vulnerable segment of the community. In this case, if we will have Ukrainian members with TEC, how will you do something? How will you handle the situation? So it's about the vulnerability of community members. How do you handle that?
Yeah, I guess it's. I mean, I'm gonna just riff on what I feel like, what I'm thinking, which is that I think it depends on each case. I don't know that there's like a one broad brushstroke for every situation. And if we talk about the Ukraine, that's a particularly extraordinary situation that is super rare. Probably we're not going to see that again. Um, and I think that the probably the best course of action if there is a community that is at risk in our community, if there's like a group of our community members that maybe have their lives threatened, their livelihoods threatened, then the course of action would be to gather as much information to understand the situation, to reach out to them and offer support and ask what can be done to help them. And I guess try to find out what the right step as a community is to support that segment of our population. Is I don't know. That's what I would imagine. The Ukraine is so. I feel like we're going to have a lot of other vulnerabilities in our communities. People that are disenfranchised for cultural or social reasons, or just by virtue of where they're located on the in the world on the map. So I think it's a really interesting question to start with, although I think every situation is going to be very unique. And I'll pass to Gideon.
Thanks, Dan. I honestly don't know. I mean, that's the truth. I really don't know how to answer this, but I have a couple of maybe perspectives on this. One is, I think that there's a lot that can be done emotionally to support people, right? So it's like, as a community, are we there to hold them and to just be there and like just hold them, like through a process like that. So that's one thing, and I think that goes a long way. Um, I think when it comes to like converting that into action, that's where it gets difficult because with some of these things, we live in a world that's increasingly polarized, and so I think the key would be if we were to ever try to convert that the individual acts of compassion and holding into something that was more action oriented, we need to come up with some process for depolarizing it. Because I think that's just the unfortunate reality of today. Every single thing, even like an invasion of a country by an aggressor, at least in the United States, it's become polarized, right? I mean, crazy, but it's become polarized. So I think we need some ways in our community to deal with these kinds of things through some kinds of discussions and things like that. So anyway, that's probably too long of an answer, but I will pass it on to Ben's.
Hey, I'll definitely complicated. I think, it has to be through like that, both the circumstance and like the community that is deciding a course of action. That's a really vague answer, but I think it's just so complicated and like different scenarios are bound to come up that, giving these rules of trying to come up with like a rule of thumb beyond like engaging your community and kind of having this discussion is really, really hard just because there's so much complexity and like, how, if it's like financial something, the intention may be to do something good, but with just how complicated our media and the ability to spin up something that might actually be not an organization that we actually wanted to fund and I don't know, it's just very, very complicated. So I think like the less top down it has to kind of be like bottom up is I guess what I'm saying. I'll pass to David.
Hey folks, sorry for being late and disturbing the meeting. I'm here to lend my support as a community member to the TEC. I sent an email to Edu a while back saying that I needed to withdraw from being an official guide. I just don't have the bandwidth at the moment, and so I guess I'll let you guys know that in person here. But I'm still definitely going to lurk and be part of this community, and I look forward to contributing where my space opens up and when it opens up. So thanks for giving me the chance to be a guide. And I don't know if there was an opening question to this meeting. I'm stuck in Colorado with COVID at the moment, trying to get back to Canada. So been quite a week. With that I'll close, and you'll see me around forever. Cool.
Get
Thanks.
better, David.
Cheers.
Thanks for sharing. Take care. And I pass it on to Mohammed.
Thanks, Edu. Nice to see you back again, Pam. Cool. Well, it's such a complex questions, but I'm gonna try to frame it the way I can, make some sense around it. So, short answer is I don't know. I'm working on it. Long answer is if the issue, if I hear firsthand from the person and the issue is something like emotional, I try and listen. I guess, man, sometimes we try to, we have a hammer and we see everything as a nail, and sometimes people just want to vent. They want us to listen, and we see it as a problem and try to offer solutions. So sometimes listening is the right way to go. If it's something structural, I try addressing it. There was an issue a while back on some due diligence that was done incorrectly in the community, and I tried to address that as best I could. And I felt in the end, the net was positive over the community. So yeah, I try to see if it's emotional, I listen. If it's structural, I try to address it. Those are, but honestly, I don't know. I'm working on. I think stories are a great way to sync with someone, and I'm working on how to be a better storyteller in the way of conveying to the other person that you understand through a story, just by saying I understand. It's just, there's something about it that just clicks. Anyway, those are my 2 stats on it. Thank you. I'll pass back to you, Edu.
Thank you, madam. For Durgaras and NT, to provide context, we are asking the question: how will you handle a situation of the vulnerability in our community? In this case, the context provided was about the situation in Ukraine and a vote that was not passed on the Ave community, that they were requesting for help, and someone requesting support for the Ukraine community, and they didn't pass. So it came to my attention the understanding of, okay, if they were a member of our community here in the DEC, well, how we would address that, and I will pass it on to Durgas.
Yeah, I think primarily it's just listening. So you have to. There's sort of two aspects. One is the stimulus, and the other is the response. Right? What's going on the stimulus end, and evaluating what that is. If the person just needs to be heard, or the person needs the full range of sort of emotional plus structural changes. I think it's important to grasp that when we set up a system, that system affects individuals, right? And then individuals affect the culture, and then culture creates a system and ping pongs back and forth. And I think it may be that we need to allow a person to, deal with whatever is going on emotionally, and also then to, make whatever follow-up we need to make either structural or procedural or mechanical changes, whatever it may be. But yeah, I mean, vulnerability can come from a lot of different places. If the person's being emotionally vulnerable, if the person's having a security issue, if a person just doesn't know anything about Web3, there's vulnerability there. There's a number of sort of layers of that, and I feel like we should pay attention to each of them. So, in fact, I think it would actually be a great idea to make it a part of what we do to inventory vulnerabilities and make ourselves resilient against them, right? So gravity is good about certain things, transparency is good about certain things. Could it be better? Yeah. Could gravity be improved? Sure. Could certain standards be better? Sure. So yeah, I think an inventory of vulnerabilities might be really good as a way to maybe start, and then what response we give to that can come after. So thanks. I don't know who's going next.
NT, how about you? And that's a great idea, the inventory of learnings. I like that concept. How about you, NT?
Yeah, well, it's in fact a complex question or situation, um, especially because we tend to want to do more than what we actually can do to help people. So I think it's important, first of all, to to know what can we like, what are our resources, boundaries when it comes to that particular vulnerability, and then it will depend a lot on what kind of vulnerability is, but as everyone has said, listening makes up for a lot of it. Um, when we are vulnerable, the only thing, or most of the times, we want is just understanding, just listening. Oftentimes the problem isn't as big as we have in our minds. But sadly, in your example about Ukraine, it's quite big, but there's just not too much that we can do. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Thank you, NT. All right. Sorry for the complex question today. And on the start of the agenda, I just wanted to give 5 minutes to time or more if you have more to share if there's something you would like to share about Denver, something you would like us to see, to check, to follow. I don't know. Well, yours.
Oh, that's so sweet. I honestly feel like the people who are watching the stream of East Denver probably saw more than I saw. And I have to go back and check a lot of the talks that I missed, you know. There were so many venues and there was so much happening and so many people to speak to. I would say some of the strong impressions that I was left with personally was that there's a lot of focus and a lot of talks about public goods. And it was actually really, really amazing to see that. There was a lot of, small teams building furiously in the hackathon. And it just felt very vibrant and alive and bleeding edge. And, there's the sports castle, which was where the main event was held, was a 24/7. So there's 5 floors with bean bags and chill out rooms, and like people were just sleeping and hacking and sleeping and hacking. So it had this really cool vibe of, you know, it's just like so much innovation and dedication and creativity and passion, and it felt like it felt really cool. It was a really, really great conference. I'd recommend anyone who can go next year to go. It's actually it's a really special conference. um, and I would say there was a lot of talks that I saw. We were staying in the same house with Block Science and MetaGov. So I got, I know the people from Block Science pretty well. I got to know a few more of them, and Joshua Tan from MetaGov as well. So it was really nice. There's nothing that beats in real life conversation, even if it's just a coffee. It's worth like 3 weeks of things or something, just to be in the other person's presence and to share and to talk and to walk. And so it was really, really extraordinary. I'm sorry that I don't have anything more of a recap about I haven't put together like my favorite talks. I have it on my to-do list for this weekend to go through some of the talks that I had tried to see, but then there's like schedule changes, or I was in one place and I was at the other place, and I haven't even seen Griff's talk. I saw one of Griff's talk. There's another talk of Griff's I want to see. I haven't even seen that yet. So there's some things I missed. I know that I don't believe they did the judging for the hackathon. I don't think that video is up yet, but that is something I couldn't do because I had a different commitment. So I want to go back and see that. I think that there's like really great content that came out of East Denver, and it was very, very inspiring to be with so many people who are so bullish on the future of what we can do with Web3. That's what I'll share. We all got COVID. my daughters and I all got COVID. We're all COVID. We're all positive. But unlike DYOR, we have no symptoms. So fortunately, it just means that the kids can't go to school. So that's sort of like our. So that's why I'm like, I thought I'd come back with like 200%, and I was like, it's gonna be more like 70. Like, but that's okay. 70%, 200% next week. Yeah, it was really great. There's this. Maybe I'll just share this very quickly. Where is it here? I think there is this funny po-op that is not really a po-op, but I wish it was. It's like, I don't know if you can sort of see this. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not a real po-op. It's just a joke po-op. But I feel like a lot of people deserve this, you know? Yeah. Also, I guess the other thing to say is with COVID, you know, there was testing to get into the events, but then, you know, it's all mask free, and it was very close quarters, and it was like, okay, we're all going to get COVID. That's just what's going to happen. But because I think many people were vaccinated and had it before, I think in many cases, it was very, very mild cases, including ours. In fact, we were still negative when we were in Denver. Yeah, so I'll pass back
Alright.
to you, although I see the next thing is probably a question for me too.
You are right.
Good. Yeah, I love that you had this agenda ready, because right before this meeting, I went into peak and I was like, oh, wait, yes, let me have those answers ready.
So basically, to provide context for everyone else, the Communitas Working Group funding passed. So now it's what comes next. We have people here that are part of the multisig, who agree on being part of the multisig, Manu, Gideon, and so on. So the idea is that how do we proceed? One of the things that I remember you mentioned was to just post on the Communitas text channel the things that you have worked on, you know, this week, this month, for sending the payments on. But I don't know if you have any update on that. Would you like to change on that?
No, I think it's the same. And just give me 1 minute. And it's here in the funding proposal that passed. I guess the main question I had when I went back to look at this. So I think what we do is everyone in Communitas, and this will be the same for the Stewards Working Group too, on our Discord, perhaps in a thread. We could even create a separate thread for this. I'm open to thoughts and suggestions. Everyone who had one of the Steward Working Group Coordination Lead, Community Builder Guides, Community Ops or Special Projects budget could just share that they, you know, performed that role for the month of February, and so are asking for compensation. And then I think we're a 3 out of 5 multi-sig. So 3 out of 5 of us need to then, here, I think it's here, would get together, I don't know when. So this is the Communitas multi-sig Gnosis Safe. And there is the funding for $46,000. And we should have the owners here. Oops, so the owners of the multi-sig, and it's a 3 of 5, so 3 of us have to get together then to allocate the distributions. I think if we can do it, I just let everyone know that needs to do it. Maybe the best thing to do is to tag people in the Discord channel for Communitas. That it's like the beginning of the month, starting tomorrow, so time to sort of to share your compensation request. And then at the end of the week, maybe 3 of us can get together and then just like execute on all of those contributions, on those distributions. That's how I imagine it. I also imagine it working the same way for the Stewards Working Group this week, the first week of the month. Is that sound good to you, Eduardo? And anyone else have any thoughts or suggestions about it?
Yeah, it sounds good to me. I think we could even, for example, in calls like the retrospective or in calls like the Steward sync, we can schedule probably 30 minutes earlier before that call to do the multi-sig, since it's usually a lot of people, a lot of us join those calls. It could be easier to just like, hey, 15 minutes, 30 minutes before, we just have all the documentations ready, or all the people who has requests, and then we just send them.
Yeah, there's one thing I noticed. I'm just going to bring this up with everyone while we're all here, is that there's a weekly rate, and we're so lucky because the month of February is exactly 4 weeks because it's 28 days. And then I was wondering, maybe going forward, what I did with the monthly rate is just multiply the weekly rate by 52 and divide it by 12. So maybe what we'll actually want to do is like every month is just the monthly rate, if that makes sense, rather than do weekly rates, because we're going to have like it's 4 in 2 days, or it's like 4 weeks in 1 day, or so maybe we can just agree that it'll be the monthly rate every month, even though it wouldn't be exact for February. Over the course of 12 months, it would be exact. Any thoughts on that too?
For me, it works. I would like to listen, for example, no matter that you're a guide, if you have any thoughts, any questions that you have regarding this.
I am currently reading. No questions so far. I'll let you know.
Also, I would like to sort of bring this to attention. How do we sort of handle people who, how do we handle small contributions? Does it goes into the special projects sections? How do we proceed with this?
Say it again. Which one?
How do we proceed with just to say as an example, Ben's and Genesi has been working in the community data. So like there are very specific contributions, like how in the future or in this section, if they request for fund, how do we tackle this situations of probably things that are out of the scope, even if we have funding for that, but how, like, do we tell them, hey, submit this, or we just wait for people to submit it automatically?
So, in my experience, it's actually best if we have agreement up front. So if there is a special piece of work to be done, it's sort of agreed upon at first, and the scope and the compensation is agreed upon, and then the work is done. And then there's no surprises, and there's no, disagreement about what was expected for how much. So I'd say that would be, the special projects. We have a special budget just for special projects, just for that. So in case there's a piece of work that needs to be done, we can pretty quickly, whip up and, tasks and outcomes and compensation document, just so that everyone has a shared expectation on that.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions regarding this? We can sync async on the date of the multi-sig signing.
Cool. Yeah, that would be great.
4, 3, 2, 1. All right. That's pretty much on the funding. There are a few other things. Libby was going to join us today, but I think she is not going to join us today. There is a major question I have, which is the last one on the agenda. And it's something that has been going through the cracks, and it has been. So to provide context, when the hatch was done, 10 NFT was sent to the top 10 contributors of the hatch. Based on that, Santi created or wanted to create a physical version of this NFT to be sent to these top 10 people. And this process has been struggling for a month and a half and going around with people because no one knows how to solve the situation of what to do. So, yes, go ahead.
Have we checked with the Common Stack Trusted Seed? Have we asked? I mean, Maria will know each of the people of those 10 addresses.
I already know the 10 people because I pull out the because I request, but then there was these complications in between oh, we don't know if this is legal, or there was certain complications on their end when I request for this. Ivy even tried to reach me out for this, so there was so much like confusion about it. And I remember on the stewards we talked about it, and the conclusion was like just send them an email, just send them a telegram. I bring these two now because I have the 10 users and with the telegrams and Discord. Is this still legal for us to send them to these people with whom most of them I have already communication with? This request for their physical address along their full name in order for us to send them this, because there are two people waiting for this. Sam has to pay the NFT, the guy, and also for Santi has to send. So I don't want to block this process anymore.
Sorry, I'm confused about what's happening or what we're talking about. So, just certain hatchers are getting a POAP?
Yeah, top 10 hatchers were given NFT. Like it was like a thing that Santi pulled out, and as a like a thank you for the effort and putting so much into the organization. So now they want to see what they want to send the physical version
Top
of
10.
that same.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Yes, top 10.
I missed it.
Sorry. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I would say, just be like, hey, I'm Eduardo. Here's the forum post about the top 10 hatchers and the NFT that you have won. Do you want it? All we need is your email address, is your mailing address. Like, where should we mail it to? And I'm sure the 10 people that are, like, I don't think any of them will have a problem just giving you a mailing address.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
was
think.
just checking that this is still allowed.
Yeah, no, but you're just contacting them by Telegram, right? It's not like you didn't get their email address or you didn't get their full name from the trusted seed. It's sort of like this is the Telegram, and we all know who they are. Most of us know who they are anyway, right? Like, so it's sort of like, here, ask Trent, does he want this? And if he does, he needs to just tell you where to ship it to.
Okay. That was my question, so I would send this message
Yeah,
today.
yeah. I was looking for the original, and I see the NFT that Sem posted on the forum. I'm sorry, I saw the original post that Sem posted on the forum, but I thought at the time there was also this was approved before the hatch, but I can't find the original post. There was an original post, I thought. So maybe we could search for that as well.
Yeah. Okay. We'll write that down.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, can I just add? This is a non sequitur, but I don't want it to fall through the cracks. We had talked about trying to update our bot guide so that it had some information to the how to buy TEC, and just for people who want to just I don't want to say invest. I don't know what contribute. I don't know how we use what the language is we use, but do you know what the status of that is?
That's on B's plate, and I know the last time I heard about B, he was still. There are two things. He needs a text to update the TC guide, and I think it was provided. And secondly, he's blocked by the reward system, if I'm not wrong. So until he finishes the reward system, yeah. Tam, do you have anything else?
Yeah, there's definitely an issue open about that. I'm just trying to pull it up to see what the status is. I don't think it's on Vi though. I think it's on us. So I don't know what happened actually. Maybe we did provide. Let me just see if I can find that issue. I feel like that'll clear a lot of things up. Update guide on how to buy TEC. For guides, canned answers for comments question. Let's see this one. Oh, yes, okay. So it is on buy. You're right. You're 100% right. And he flagged the idea of invest and changing it to acquire. And it does not look like it has even been pulled into a sprint yet. actually, so maybe I don't think that Vi it's on his radar right now.
We put it on the screen on the. Oh, I mean, it should have been because I talked about this with Nate. To put it on the screen because I had assumed that I would have finished the reward system part by this sprint.
Okay. I just left a comment in the issue to see when that can be done. Just quick question: is there any other bot? Because there was some other ideas of adding more canned questions to the guide. Oh no, that was for something different. Sorry. I guess the question is like, is there anything else we want to add? Do we want to take a moment to revise anything else in that guide than this acquiring TEC path?
I've been trying to get a word in edgewise here. Since the question about the POAP, is there a POAP just for hatchers, or is it just there is a POAP plus these 10? So if there was a POAP for hatchers, I don't think I have it. So
There was a POAP for hatchers, but this is not the same as the NFT that was given to top 10.
no, I get it, but yeah, I don't think I even have the POAP for hatchers for some reason. So
So
I
that
was just asking about it.
as the laser was the guy who did this time, the POAPs, or was Marco? The POAPs for hunters. I think it was as laser, not Marco in this case. But I can ask for that. Do that as I give you an answer regarding that.
Yeah, thanks.
Go ahead, Gideon.
Oh, actually, I was looking. I two things are going on in my head right now. One is I was just looking at there's this other thing, the Hatchbot NFT in metal. Is that the thing that you're referring to, or is that a different thing? Do you know the thing I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yes, in the forum post. That is the same thing. And maybe just to take a moment to separate the two. So there was a hatcher POAP that every hatcher received. And then on the forum post, there's a special drawing, a special piece of work, artwork that was done by an artist that Santi works with. And it's that, so it's that POAP that the top 10 hatchers received, as well as they will receive a physical print, a metal print of that POAP. So the top 10 hatchers received a special POAP and will receive a metal print of that POAP as well.
I see. You know what? I have to confess, I voted for that, but I thought that was going to all hatchers. I didn't realize that was just the top 10. Anyway, I have a separate question, which is, I've just been thinking lately. I'm seeing a number of places where we seem to be getting stuck on our technologies. So like making changes to the website, like a simple link and things like that, are just so hard to do. And also like the bot. I mean, bot may be a completely different thing. I just don't know enough about Discord bots. But in general, one thing that I want to flag as just something that I think we in particular, but the overall TC community, I think needs to be thinking about is how do we free ourselves from technology? How do we use it to set ourselves free, right? So like, for example, like in the old days, I used to do all this consulting on websites and databases for nonprofits, and making it really easy for people to be able to serve themselves and get into websites and change it. Like there are all these super easy website tools that are out there, and I don't know the details of our website, and this isn't a criticism of that, but in general, I would say whenever we can genericize our technology so that it's something that's a generic tool, I think it's always good to do that. And so for example, the bot is, I don't know, maybe there's no other solutions for bots on Discord, but we're putting a lot of pressure on Vibe. He's got a lot of other stuff that he's trying to do, And if every time we need to make a little change here or there to our bot and the way that we interact with the community, we have to go throh Vi and it's putting more pressure on them. I think we need to find some other ways of doing that. So,
In terms of the website, I've been asking for that for about more than a year, so I'm not sure what the ongoing issue is with making changes to the website, but I felt like we've been making progress in the comms group, so comms group might be a better place to ask about that, because I think we've recently been, it's been easier.
And Manu, do you know who we asked? Because it used to be Christopher. It was my last. It was the last person I knew. But I know he told me one day, no, I'm no longer that person. So
Yeah. It's what was, hold on. Oh, it's Casale. I always get Casale and Escanore confused. But yeah, it's Casale. Casale.eth is his Discord tag, and he's sort of like a newish contributor, and he has been the one recently that, for example, if you go right now, he recently updated the website to also having the vision and the values. So we not only have the mission up right now, but also have the vision and the values. So yeah, it's Casale, the person who's been helping us update the website quicker, because Christopher is, does not have bandwidth for that. So yeah, Casale.
Edu, you had something you were going to say, so I'll just wait.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No worries.
No, I was gonna say we should start assigning these things to Casale on ZenHub. Like that, if he's the one that can do it. I don't see him inside these. I don't think he's in GitHub actually, Manu. So I was wondering. Maybe I can reach out to him.
I will get him. Yeah,
okay.
I will.
That would be cool. And then I just want to address two things. One, Christopher redid our website, but never wanted to be like the webmaster. Just wanted to have a better website than we had before, which renders better on mobile. Essentially, was the big win with, I think we switched to React framework. So. Yeah, there's a CMS system. It's a little bit clunky, and it's just a sort of. But I think that some basic things can be changed. Nothing too. It's not like a templated tool. I mean, an extensive or extensible templated tool that we can use, but it's pretty basic. And then I guess I just want to say about Vi. Vi is cognizant when he's building these bots to try to make them so that people can update them. And that's not him. I think he's aware of it. I think he just hasn't been able to do it yet. He hopes to do the same thing with the survey, though. But every time we do sync, it's sort of one of the things that come up about packaging these bots in a way that this community and other communities can actually just manage it themselves. It's just, we're not there yet. But a really, really good point, actually, because we are getting stuck on a lot of these same little points.
On the brighter side, labs will start deploying the Discord bot army course that will start, I think, in a few weeks, March 5th or something like that. So we will have a lot of people that will be learning how to deploy by these bots, and everyone. Okay, there you go. I think Tam froze me. Oh, there you go. So yeah, I think no, now you're good. So I think basically it will be just a matter of probably bringing awareness to Vi that it would be nice to nurture someone from that lab sessions to be able to work with us, and so he can rest that part of the kind of he can code the bot, but then the handling and the managing of the bot can be handled by someone else. I think would be a healthy way to proceed, because it goes the same with Discord. I don't know, for example, if the praise. I don't know if they already have the text for updating the message that you get by the praise. I don't know, like all these things that goes into a bot needs to, I think, be accounted for. Yes, Gideon, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I guess I just have a lot of painful experience from this area of my life with super well-meaning organizations like building lots of custom things, and it's all technical debt, right? It all just builds over time, and it seems like this thing has to be so custom for us. Like our use case is special, or like we'll build this, and then lots of other people can use this tool. But that is such dangerous thinking. I understand the draw of that, but it is so dangerous to follow that path, unless it's like something that we truly believe is really unique to our organization. And so, for example, the website thing, I really question, why do we need a custom framework? Why do we need to have something built on React? There are so many good, and I'm sure there was a lot of good decisions, and reasons for it at the time. But that's an example of, and I'm just using this as an example really to illustrate a point more than the website in particular. But that is something that's like, there are these tools that are out there that require virtually no training at all, where we could have 5 or 10 people, if we qualified them, they could go in and edit the website pretty easily. And I guess my point is that we just need that flexibility. If we're going to have the kind of fluidity that we need to be able to engage the community and be able to communicate and do that kind of stuff, we really need to ask these questions pretty proactively and I think it's upon us, this committee, this working group, in particular, to be kind of the ones that are really asking these questions of like, do we need that specialized tool? Do we really need to, or is it really more in the interest of making it be something that can be opened up to more people so that we can keep things moving? That's my general question, and it'll be something I will continue to ask just because I've had a lot of painful experience in that area.
I would just say, just before passing it to you, Dungaras, that I think this is something that we had this conversation last week about. Dungaras came out with this idea, or this concept of unnecessary politeness, and I think, and this is a good example of this, Gideon. So I appreciate the comment, and I think we need to get rid of unnecessary politeness and come around with these questions that we just assume that this website works because that's what we have been given, and at the moment we were so overworked with all this stuff that website was a priority, but now it could be a priority if we want it. So yeah, I think it's necessary to have this conversation. Yes, you guys.
Oh yeah, I'm just seconding, or I guess he's seconding my long-standing complaint. So like, yeah, I don't know. We've been there. I think part of it has been that we've been trying to revise security and access rules, and we've been sort of doing that simultaneously. We do have a framework for that, and I think I've shared that in other places. I might have shared it with you, but I could certainly send you the link of the stuff that I wrote up very recently. About 8 or 9 or 10 months ago, I wrote up a security recommendation thing too, and sent it off to somewhere. So yeah, I've got a couple of different versions of that you could look at if you're interested to maybe give your feedback on it. But I'm totally agreeing with the technical debt side of the thing. Design is dead. Just use off-the-shelf things. Shove your content in blocks and be done with it. So thank you. WordPress all the way. So yeah, it's easy, fast. So that's my reason.
Does someone else wants to contribute something regarding this? This is an action item. What would be the action item for this? Like meeting with Casale, or just like requesting access to the back end of the website? Like, what would be the action item for this conversation?
Well, I think we need to revise our security to never have just a single person dealing with this. Do you know what I mean? Because then it just creates a backlog. So, we've got multiple, web developers in our community, including myself, right? So yeah, I mean, um, so yeah, I think at any given time, if we have access to some crucial system, there should be 3 people at least who can access it at any given time. I've got a document that kind of outlines my recommendations for those things, but anyway, we could discuss that offline. But I think that's the
Would you
action
like
item is to revise those rules as a standard for all of our working groups and some of the technical things underneath.
Would you like sharing that document on the text channel, please, so we can check it out, if it's possible to be shared? Yes, kidding.
So I don't have bandwidth to do this right now, but I would like to propose that over the next few months we reconsider the website. I based on just my analysis of looking at the existing website, re-implementing that on something like WordPress would not be hard at all. It would be something that probably a number of us could do ourselves. Actually, I mean, I from just looking at myself, I could probably do that in WordPress, and I'm no pro. But I guess what I'm saying is, I'm just saying that there are probably things that we can be doing, little investments that we can be making over this next 6 months that will have huge payoff down the road in terms of flexibility. I'll just put that out there as like a longer term, maybe 2 or 3 months from now, that we come back to that and see how we would go about reaching a decision on that.
Yeah, I'll just throw in my 2 cents too. I don't disagree actually with any of this. The website, like the website was never, I think, really designed. It was just really put together to have the bare minimum information necessary. And really, in the beginning, it was just to help people find our Discord server. So I think it wouldn't be bad to put some more effort into creating a website that is usable and will share relevant information with people who search for the TEC.
Manu, is there any effort on that end on communications, just to know overall, just to check it out? Do you know anything about it?
No, so far we've just been using Casale to, edit if there are things. The recent change that was done on the website, one was for HubSpot, and there's still a couple to be made, and I can do them pretty quickly through Casale, so on my end, that works. The recent change to also uploading the vision and the values as a copy of the website, that was an issue created by Griff, I think, November. So I just finally, I saw it, I was like, oh wow, this has been addressed. So I finally did it through Casale. But other than that, it works currently right now, but there are no initiatives to structurally change the way we address the websites for like pull requests, maybe like some low code alternative, like there are some websites right now that you can do with low code. But to answer your question, no, there's nothing currently planned to sort of like restructure the way we,
Just to give you a tiny example, when we did the CEO of the website, it took us 3 months to do the CEO of the website, but like a year and a half ago. So I feel it's an improvement from back then, to have someone like at least working on it in a more current basis. So the rest of the topics of the agenda.
I'm just gonna throw one more thing in. The working groups are like, I'm about to open an issue for that, just because we have 2 working groups that are now retired and 1 working group, rewards, who isn't there. So we need to take the parameters and common swarm off and add rewards. Excuse me. But yeah, I think the website's always been a pain point because we didn't have anyone who could easily go in and make changes. And hopefully Casal makes that a little easier, but agreed that I think it could be a better information source for Web2 folk and others. Sorry, back to you, Eduardo.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
I made a note of that, so to update, edit the working groups. So I'll get with Casale on that. Back to you.
Two things that are very brief. The first one is I made it as a note for me and for the rest of the guys to not lose personal touch on what we meet people. I think we should keep sort of welcome personalized to people who require personalized welcoming, and generic to the people who just reply generic the guide. So I just want to make that quick note for the guides, even if David is not going to be a guide here, just for everyone here, if you welcome anyone, if you have access to the orientation data, let's sort of pay back the people who has fulfilled the survey in a deeper way than just generic answer. That's not the second thing. Is we need someone to join the reward system calls. I sang with Christopher 2 times last week, and I'm gonna start attending to the praise call, to the reward system calls. But I think that in order for them to make the deployment, that should be happening in a week and a half or 2 weeks or so. We should be able, as a community, to be on the loop and be aware of how this reward system will be implemented and all this stuff accordingly. So also we talked about the narrative of the praise. Remember, Gideon, last week? So I think that's something that could be really relevant for us to be on the know about how this praise system, the new reward system, can sort of be parallel to a user flow in our community, and how to consider that as part of our user flow in one way or the other. That's pretty much all. Does anyone else have something else to want to comment on or talk about before we close up? 5, 4. Yes, guys.
I wanted to be on that reward system talk. I think I need to talk to them about one way or another. For the metric stuff, we've stalled a little bit. I can't this week. Should I just post in their channel and try and I think I just need to sit down and just look at those pieces that I haven't had time to do, but yeah.
I mean, no worries. What we can do is that I can go to this Wednesday's reward system call, and then we can sync on that and we'll look at this.
Okay.
I've been also attending this week, so I don't know if there's anything I can help with that. I plan on continuing attending both meetings, communities and rewards. So yeah.
That would be amazing. I mean, if you guys help us to be like a bridge in between the reward system and our working group, that would be a great useful for us for being in the loop on that. So we can sync on that, MT, if you feel like.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. So that's pretty much all. Looking forward. 10, just before I forget, tomorrow do we meet at 9 or 11? We haven't we have 2 dates on our calendar. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. Sorry that today the energy was a little bit low. We talked a bunch of stuff. So looking forward to see you all next Monday. Take care. Have a lovely week.
Thank you, bye.
Thanks, Eduardo. Thanks, everyone.
I love the new dude, Ergadas. You're looking sharp, man. Looking sharp.